I have 3 damaged discs in my neck area that is affecting my spinal cord, and that just makes it a very complicated surgery to do.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boy.
Man, it's freezing out there. All right, so where was I? Dupilumab was working really well. I was even able to go to New York Fashion Week, and then I went to Amsterdam, but then a plot twist happened in between there. When I came back from New York Fashion Week in September of 2017, I started feeling my right arm and right hand sometimes would tingle and be a little bit sore or a little bit numb. Finally saw a neurologist, and she tested all my peripheral nerves and said everything was perfectly fine, and then she scheduled me for an MRI just to get the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. Well, everything looked great except I have some pinching in my spinal cord in my neck, so the neurologist made me go see a neurosurgeon, and that kind of freaked me out, just the term neurosurgeons. I didn't see the neurosurgeon until I came back from Amsterdam in November, and I mean, things started getting real. They showed me the MRI scans in detail and kind of explained it, and so between my C5 and C6 vertebrae, there's a pinched disc. I guess sometimes it might be a herniated disc that I guess older people get in their lower backs, but what happens is the vertebrae bone in your spine and your neck also have a soft disc in between them. Just kind of makes your spine flexible, and however the bone above and below the disc can crush down on the disc and smush it like a pancake, and the disc will come out and start cutting into the spinal cord. And when that happens, when it cuts very deeply or completely damages the spinal cord, that's when you have paralysis below wherever the disc is damaging the spinal cord. So for me, it would be somewhere here in my neck, which means everything below my neck will start to paralyze and lose function. I'll basically become paralyzed below the neck, and that is really freaky. They also found 2 discs above that are also damaged, and even though they haven't started to affect the spinal cord yet, they're getting pretty close. So I have 3 damaged discs in my neck area that would or is affecting my spinal cord, and that just makes it a very complicated surgery to do. So I went around talking to other neurosurgeons, and a friend of mine up here in Utah, he's also a neurosurgeon, so sent him the MRIs just to get a second and third opinion. He was like, man, you should have got the surgery a long time ago, but given your condition, you just need to try to do it as soon as possible now. So to get the surgery, you have to either cut from the front or from the back and go in and either remove part of the vertebrae bone or completely remove the disc and fuse it with kind of like bone paste, and so this whole area of the neck would just become really stiff and just become one piece, which is really difficult no matter what. And like I said, this kind of surgery is mostly for seniors who have started like degenerating like this and just like become curled over, but I even have that. My neck is kind of. So meeting with the neurosurgeons, they didn't know quite how to do the surgery given all my conditions. I mean, they know they can do it, but first I had to get a lot of different allergy tests just to make sure I can use the anesthetics. I can use the titanium metal that they also need to use to fix the bone and make sure it doesn't shift around while it's healing, and any kind of alternative material that they would use in place of the titanium if I were allergic to the titanium. We even talked about doing an artificial disc surgery which means instead of removing the damaged disc and putting in bone and just making it very stiff, now there are artificial discs that can replace the damaged disc and can give you back the same mobility and neck function that would be normal. So we discussed that, and I got tested for all the artificial disc materials that they might use.
All right, I made it to the allergy clinic. Have my mask on today, so I'm not gonna get sick from whatever food smells or fragrances they have inside. But still kind of sad that I'm doing this inside the allergy clinic.
So all the allergy tests for that came back negative, which means that I should be okay with those materials and the anesthetics and other medications that they use during a surgery. However, the caveat is that because I'm on cyclosporin, the immunosuppressant, it kind of masks a lot of reactions. That's the whole reason why I'm on cyclosporin, is it kind of covers over all the allergic reactions so that I can rest and so that my skin doesn't quite flare up as much, that my stomach can handle food a bit better, and my asthma would be better, is all because cyclosporin just covers over all of the potential reactions that my lungs and my gut and my skin usually has. So cyclosporin would cover over any allergic reactions I would have to titanium or the artificial disc materials or the anesthetics. So we don't actually know if I'm allergic to those things, and we don't actually know what would happen if I constantly have like titanium in my body, or I'll have other problems having a material in my body that I'm allergic to that is being masked by the immunosuppressant. So we went through all of that, and it also turns out that cyclosporin kind of hinders bone fusion. So, and like I said, bone fusion is a critical part of these kind of surgeries, where bone paste is used to secure the neck in the right place and make sure the spinal cord doesn't get damaged again. And so if that happens, if cyclosporin prevents the bone from fusing properly, I would need even more surgeries to try to fix that, but they don't even really know how to fix that. And multiple surgeries in the same place would increase the risk of damage to the throat, the airways, and it also would make it even harder to heal. So there would be a lot more complications. Like somebody was telling me that the lower back might have problems, the shoulder might have problems, or they just can't move around very much, especially after multiple surgeries. So it's just a lose-lose situation. And furthermore, even to do a surgery, my asthma needs to be under control. And that goes back to the Nucala problem. Like I said, Nucala has made my asthma so much worse that even a year and a half later to today, I can't breathe properly. So that means if I were to get the surgery today, I cannot do it because my asthma is too unstable, and I won't be able to breathe properly during the surgery to be able to complete the surgery. And when you're under the knife, your body is under a lot of stress, even though there are anesthetics to kind of keep you under. It's likely that your heart rate would rise, and who knows how my body would throw a fit because it's being cut open and bone is being removed. So I just can't have asthma doing that, and because of the Nucala, I'm constantly having asthma. So I'm kind of in a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation where if I don't get the surgery, I'm going to slowly get paralyzed below the neck, and my right hand and right arm are showing signs of it. Even though there are good days and bad days, I've been trying to wear a neck brace to kind of stretch out the neck and not let it get any worse. It's still a looming monster that it's not going to go away, and so I need to do the surgery at some point. And the sooner I do it, the better, because The longer that the spinal cord is damaged by the disc in the neck, the less likely it would be able to recover. So let's say if I wait too long and I start losing the ability to use my arm, then I do the surgery, I might not be able to use my arm even after the surgery. It'll just prevent things from getting worse. But if the spinal cord is already damaged, I'm not going to be able to use my arm again. So that's the freaky part. But again, as of this moment, I cannot do the surgery because of the asthma and because cyclosporin would prevent the bone from healing. That's why I am up here in Utah again, and that's why I came up here earlier than I planned, because it really feels like this surgery situation is pretty time sensitive. Like the longer I wait, the more likely my spinal cord is going to be damaged, and even though I'm okay today, I might get bumped on the head tomorrow and dislodge the disc and make it even worse and need immediate surgery no matter what. Whether they're a risk or not, I might just have to get it. So I want to come up here and at least discuss these problems with my research doctors up here in Utah and kind of see what solutions or alternatives we might have to using cyclosporin. So if I could replace cyclosporin with something else, then maybe the surgery will be safer. But again, like the mission for the past 8 or so years of coming up here has been to try to get myself off of cyclosporin because it's a very toxic and dangerous medication. You're not really supposed to use cyclosporin for more than 3 to 6 months, I guess, and I've been on it for 10 and a half years now. But even just slightly less of cyclosporin and my body will kind of fall apart. So even with Dupilumab, my skin will fall apart, my asthma will get so much worse, and I won't be able to eat anything again if I didn't have cyclosporin. So right now I can't get off of cyclosporin, and I really need to do the surgery. And then there's a second part of my asthma being horrible, so I'm up here discussing with the doctors about how can I improve my asthma enough so that if I suddenly need emergency surgery, my asthma will be under control and I won't be going under the knife with extreme risk because of the asthma. So yeah, that's basically been my year, fighting to be able to breathe every single day for the past 15 months since starting Nucala, even after I stopped it. And then it was great starting Dupilumab and having the benefits, but also dealing with just a new treatment. It was kind of hard just adjusting and having the eye problems. And finally when Dupilumab seemed to be stabilized and working how I wanted it to, the spine injury thing that required a surgery just sprang out of left field. Like, what is this? I mean, I'm not ready to handle something else that's totally unrelated to just all the problems I already have. It just gets discouraging and more so just annoying. Like, I just wanted to have a break and focus on some other things. Like, traveling was really enjoyable. It's just finally getting out of the house some of the time, but that was really hard because I had a constant asthma attack 24/7, so I couldn't really go that far anyway, and going to Amsterdam was a really big risk. I was just able to do it because I found a travel asthma breathing treatment machine that I could bring with me, but it was still really, really scary to be going abroad and constantly having an asthma attack. So yeah, hopefully we'll figure something out, and I'm hoping to be able to delay the surgery as long as possible, so at least I can get off of cyclosporin and maybe fix my asthma completely. Yeah.